Hello friend, the last class we covered very basic of theory of consumer behavior. As part of that, what we covered what is utility and how do we measure utility. A different way to measure utility, like you have cardinal approach, then you have ordinal approach, and under cardinal approach we saw different assumption and how do we derive maximum utility or equilibrium point for the consumer, and then we looked into ordinal approach. Until ordinal approach, we looked into indifference curve approach. As part of indifference curve, we saw what is indifference curve and how you derive the maximum utility given your budget constraint. So that was all we looked into the previous classes, which was very basic and the foundation of theory of consumer behavior. The next what we are going to see in today's class is basically income effect and compensated demand curve. So as part of this class, we are going to cover income effect, substitution effect, what is price effect. Then we are going to look into Hicksian approach to find out the compensated demand curve. We are going to look into Slutsky approach. Then we are going to look into what is the difference between Hicksian and Slutsky approach. We will also look into a little bit about the Marcian approach, which is basically your cardinal approach. What is the difference between Marcian and Hicksian approach? So this is the agenda of today's class. Let's get started. So we'll just first see income effect. What is income effect? So your income effect, when your income changes, if your goods are normal. Now last class I talked about normal and inferior and different groups. So I'll just give a brief about what it is. So consider if your goods are normal, how it will be impacted if your income changes. So consider you have in the two goods world, which is like X1 and X2, there are only two goods available for you, where either you can buy X1 or X2, and you buy a bundle of this. So you buy a bundle where number of X and number of X2s are there. So now if your income changes, if your income consider M, if it increases, so increase of this income, how much you are going to change your consumption. So you are going to either buy more of X1, more of X2, or what that impact is called your income effect. So because of income change in good is called your income impact. So income effect is change in X with respect to change in M, which is your income, keeping your other thing constant, and other thing is prices. Here we are not talking about prices. Consider even income changes and even your price change increases, that it will cancel out your income effect. So when we are talking about income effect, we are just talking about income effect. We are keeping other thing constant. So your prices are constant here. So that is your income effect. The next is the substitution effect. We will talk here only. The next is substitution effect. Now, substitution effect could be either of two types. If substitution could be your own substitution, and substitution when one product is substituting other. So own substitution impact or effect means that when the prices changes due to that price change, how much you are changing for that. Consider price of X1 changes P1. Price of X1 is P1 and this is P2. Now P1 changes to P1 star, P2 is constant. So because of this change, how much the change happens in consumption of X1, that change is called own substitution effect. So consider you are consuming 10 quantity earlier, and because of price change you started consuming 15 quantity. So you are substituting 10 by 15 quantity, so that is called your own substitution effect. Other substitution effect is like if your price is changing for one product, so own substitution effect will be dx divided by dp. dp is your price change and keeping other price constant and your income constant. So P2 will be constant here and M will be constant here. So that is your own substitution effect. Other substitution effect, what it is? Other substitution effect, because of price change in one product, your other product is substituted. So consider your X1 is, and all these things I am talking about the normal goods. So consider your X1 is 5 rupees earlier and X2 is kind of 10, and then X1 changes to X1 got decreased and became 1 rupees. So now what you are thinking, X1, the price of X1 is reduced. So what you want to, and X2 is very expensive. So what you want to, if it can be substituted, you want to substitute X2 by X1 and consume more of X1 and less of X2. So that's called the substitution, other substitution effect, where X1 is substituting X2 because the difference of price in X1. So that is your substitution effect. So remember this formula. Income effect is when dx by dm keeping the price constant of other product. So substitution effect is dx by dp keeping your price of P2 constant and M constant, because you are keeping the income constant and your price of other product constant, then only you can find out own substitution effect because of price change of X1. Now, the third thing what we saw was the price effect. Now, the price, when the price of goods changes, one good, there could be two effect because of that. One, own substitution effect. Okay, so this is the substitution effect, own substitution effect, which we had already seen. It was dx by dp keeping the price of other good constant and keeping the income constant. That is your own substitution effect, which will definitely happen as part of your price effect. What is the other effect? Since price of one good changes, what happens? It also impact your income, because income is basically ultimately becomes the expenditure. So since your expenditure is getting less or more because of price change, your income will also change. So other impact is change in income due to price effect. So this is a change in income due to price effect. Now, what is this? Now your income is changing, your quantity is changing because of income effect, where income got changed due to price effect. So here you have two different kind of effect. One is change in goods because of because of income, right? And then your income in turn changed because of price, right? So there are two impacts here. One, change in goods because of income, and then change in income because of your price. Now, these formula is basically your X. So di or d, so your P into X is equal to I. So this ultimately give you X, di by dp. So you X equal to I by P. So this ultimately give you Xi. So you can say the change in income effect will be Xi into dx I by dmi. Okay. So that's your formula for change in income due to price. So just to reiterate, you have income effect, where income effect because of income changes, if quantity changes, that's called your income effect. So for normal good, income effect is positive because more income, more goods you are going to buy. But if it's the inferior good, then income effect is going to negative, because just consider inferior good. Meaning of inferior good is that you are buying that good because you don't have money, but if you have more money, you would like to substitute that good with the other good. So consumption will decrease. So just to give a healthy food example, that consider example of sugar and jaggery. Sugar is less expensive and jaggery is more expensive. So when you have more income, less income, you buy more sugar. But when your income changes and it move ups, you want to substitute it with a more healthy option, which is jaggery, and the consumption will decrease. So income effect for normal goods is positive, and for inferior good it is negative. So yeah, so we have seen price effect. Price effect is addition of your own substitution effect and change in income due to your price effect. So that's your Slutsky theorem, which says the price effect of your one goods, change in price in one goods, E, is equal to summation of your own substitution effect, which is this, and plus summation of this. This is your Slutsky theorem, which we will later that how to prove this theorem, and so we'll show in the later part when we are discussing the Slutsky. So now we have seen income effect, we have seen price effect, we have seen substitution effect. Now we have seen the price effect is usually the summation of your income effect and your substitution effect. Now where the Hicksian and Slutskian approach comes, what they are trying to do. So whenever the change in price, so your price effect is equal to substitution effect plus income effect. Income change due to price. Income change due to price effect. So this is basically summation of these two, and if, what their aim is to, in the welfare economics, what is the aim of economists is to let consumer, because of price change, the change what should happen only because of this substitution, they want to remove this income effect. So that is the part of welfare economics. Why they are trying to do? If price changes, that is the market impact. So price either increases or decreases. That is because of that is happening because of market mechanism. But because of this price change, consumption of consumer will change. So consumer utility will change. But substitution effect you cannot do anything about because that is happening directly because of price change. But if income effect, what is impact, what is happening on your income, if you could adjust this, then consumer will have different utility. So if you reduce or not reduce, if you ultimately remove this income effect from your price effect, then only substitution effect remains, then consumer will get maximum utility out of it. So there is different approach between Hicksian and Slutsky to do that. To do that means to remove this income effect from the price. So that is called your compensation, your income compensation. What you are doing here, you are compensating your income change, and then because of that, what is impact happening? Only substitution impact is happening, and then you are going to derive, after you are compensating for your income impact, what would be your price effect and what would be your ultimate utility for the customer or consumer. Before going into Hicksian and Slutsky approach, I'll give you brief about what is Hicksian approach for compensation and what is Slutsky approach, and then after that, I'll go in detail about both the approach, that how does it work and how does they remove your real income impact. So in Hicksian approach, there is one assumption that your real income is measured in terms of utility. So just remember this, in Hicksian approach, your real income is always measured in terms of utility. And in Slutsky approach, your real income is measured in terms of your purchasing power. So that is the main difference between your Hicksian and Slutsky. When you're going to derive it, you will see Hicksian. What Hicksian is assuming that your real income is always measured in terms of utility. In Slutsky, it is purchasing power. So when your Hicksian demand curve you derive, which is your compensated demand curve, so your Hicksian demand curve will depend on your price and your utility, because usually what you derive your demand in terms of price and your income. But for your Hicksian approach, because your real income depends on your utility, it will always be function of price and utility. As and for Slutsky it is different. Your demand will be function of price and your purchasing power. Okay. So since Hicksian approach, your real income is measured in terms of utility. So since what we are assuming, because the whole purpose of is to compensate your any change in income. So that means for as per Hicksian, we are compensating in terms of utility. So we don't want utility to change. Utility will always remain the same. So as per your Hicksian approach, we can just say 1, 2, 3. Hicksian approach, your indifference curve will always be same, because you are not changing your utility. And as per the Slutsky approach, since you are doing it, you are assuming your purchasing power will remain same. So what is the bundle of good you are earlier you are buying, you should be able to buy it after compensation. So what in here Slutsky approach, your IC curve would be higher if prices are reducing. So that means your utility is increasing. And what is one of the disadvantage you can say of the Hicksian approach? Hicksian approach you can say, because you are keeping the utility same, you need to know what is the exact utility curve to derive your demand curve. You need to know you need to have the knowledge of exact utility indifference curve, so that you could derive your compensated Hicksian demand curve, which is difficult. So that's the main drawback you can say of Hicksian approach, that you need to have knowledge of exact IC, which is not in the case of Slutsky approach. Your utility indifference curve can be different. You are going by your purchasing power, so you don't have need to know the exact knowledge of your indifference curve. So that is the difference between Slutsky and Hicksian approach. I just reiterate it once. So Hicksian approach, your real income is measured in terms of utility. In Slutsky, real income measured in terms of purchasing power. Hicksian, your demand function will be terms of prices and utility. In Slutsky, it will be price and your purchasing power. In Hicksian, your indifference curve will always be same, because you are assuming that your utility will always be same. But in Slutsky, if your prices are decreasing, your IC curve will be higher. Uh, New IC curve, this will be higher. If it is increasing, your IC curve will be lower. And the main draw of Hicksian curve give you the exact and very approximation is very to real time. But what is the drawback is that you need to know the exact IC curve to derive your demand function, compensated demand function. But in Slutsky approach, it is not like that. Indifference curve work out to, I mean, you have different injections curve to work out to the demand curve. So now we'll look into Hicksian approach. So now we are going to look into Hicksian method. Now, so consider your initial demand curve. This is your initial IC and this is your budget constraint. This is your X1, X2. Okay, so your good X1, consider this is the initial budget constraint. So the initial good is XA. That is your initial good. Now consider this is the optimal bundle. So now consider you have falling price of X1. So X1 falls. So what will happen since X1 is falling? That means your budget constraint, which was initial, which was consider your X maximum here, and consider this is Y and this is X, and this is Y maximum. So this curve will change because X is falling. So maximum what you can buy will change. So this is X maximum 1. This is changing. Your initial budget curve will change. Why it will change? Just keeping in the formula, just see P1x1 plus P2x2 minus M. That is the line. So now if x2 is 0, so earlier it was P1x1. X2 is 0, it was P1. This was your x1. Right? Now if x2 sorry. Okay. So if x2 was 0, so earlier it was x1 equal to M by P1. Right? This was this was xm was M by P1. Now what you do, your P1 is decreasing because price of x1 is decreasing. So what will happen? Your x1 xm will increase, right? So it will increase to xm1 and it will be more than your xm. More than your xm. So your curve will change. Line will change here and come here. Okay. So this is a new curve. Now you need to find out a new IC curve to find out. So in order to do that, you need to draw a parallel to this and which will be tangent to this. So new IC curve will be something like this. Okay. So consider this is X1 line. This is new IC curve, IC2. Okay. Now, what is your total price impact? Earlier it was XA, now it is X1. So that is your price effect, total price effect. X8 to X1 what it is going is your price effect. Now we have to isolate the substitution effect only and we need to remove any income effect. Then how do we do that? In order to remove the income effect, what our assumption is that our utility should not change. So you have seen in Hicksian method, we are assuming real income is a utility. So in this case, your utility will not change. So we have to keep IC1. We are not going to IC2, we are keeping IC1. So now we are keeping IC1, but we need to derive a new budget constraint, this, so that we can remove income effect. So this is your new budget. So that would be parallel to this. So we need to find a line which would be parallel to this line and that will go tangent to your earlier utility curve, indifference curve. Right? So that is tangent to earlier indifference curve. So this call this as X2. So that is your Hicksian compensated demand. Okay. So now here XA was your earlier demand for X. X1 is demand with price effect and X2 is demand after compensating for loss in income or increase in income. Demand after compensating income using Hicksian approach. So that is overall your funda of your Hicksian approach. That is how you derive your compensated quantity after removing your income effect. Okay. Now, just to reiterate what we have seen, that using Hicksian approach, how we are substituting your income impact. So you are seeing this X2, which is your Hicksian demand, and this is X1, which is your Martian demand, which is derived from your normal formula, normal price impact. So this difference, what you are seeing here, this difference is your compensation of Hicksian method. Compensation happened during the Hicksian method. So I hope you understood this concept. So just to give you a more real-time example and numerical example on this, that how in Martian is a normal cardinal approach. When we derived X1, which is the price impact of the earlier price impact, when we went to the new indifference, higher indifference curve. So that is your Martian approach, and we'll see how Martian approach is different and how Hicksian approach is different in the next session. Okay, so let's see as part of Martian and as part of Hicksian, what is the difference we are seeing, and then we will correlate it to what we have seen as part of Hicksian approach and Martian approach. Martian we have not seen, but Martian is basically the normal approach. We are not doing any compensation and any substitution in that. So we'll keep Martian at one side. We'll keep Hicksian at another side. And we'll solve one equation using both this method and see what is the difference. So consider your demand function is xy, sorry, your utility function is xy, and your income is x p1 plus y p2. That is your income constraint. Now, as part of Martian, what is your utility is subject to your income constraint. So that's a normal approach. You are subjecting utility to income constraint and then you are deriving your maximum utility. Now, as part of Hicksian approach, we want to keep any change happening because of prices. We want to keep our utility same. We don't want to change it. So we will say income impacted and subject to your utility constraint. So in this case, how we are deriving Lagrangian? In this case, Lagrangian function will be utility plus lambda your income minus P1x minus P2x. That will be part of normal, but part of Hicksian, your Lagrangian will be your income, which will be your xp1 plus yp2 subject to your utility u minus xy. That is the difference. Now we have seen this already, that how do we solve this Lagrangian function. We are going to do the normal calculation. where your dl by dx differentiation will be 0, then dl dx2 by g equal to 0 and dl d lambda equal to 0. Similarly here dl by dp1 equal to 0, dl by dp2 equal to 0 and dl by d lambda equal to 0. Now what will happen here? U is xy, so dl by dx, sorry, we should get y, yeah, xy. So what will happen? Y minus p1 equal to 0. In this case, x minus p2 equal to 0. In this case, p1x plus p2y equal to m. Okay. So here you will have y equal to p1 and x equal to p2. Sorry, p1 lambda and p2 lambda. Okay. Now x equal to we want to put lambda value here so that we can derive p1 and sorry p2 x and y value we can derive it. So this is p1x plus p2y, put y from here, so it will become p1 p2 lambda we want to remove lambda from here so that we can derive the value x and y. So just divide it, y divided by x will become p1 by p2. That will become x will become p2y by p1. Okay. Now if you want to derive p2 or p1 and p2, you can derive from here. So p1x plus p2 will be x p1 divided by p2. p2 is equal to m. That means p2 p2, and then your x will be equal to m by 2p1 and y will be m by 2p2. So see, x and y is your demand function, and you are saying your demand function is now a function of m, which is your income and price, both income and price both. Now derive from here in Hicksian approach. So what will happen? X minus lambda y equal to 0. Similarly y, the p1, everything will become x minus y to lambda y equal to 0. Px, sorry, this is x, this is y. Sorry, p1 minus lambda y equal to 0. p2 minus lambda x equal to 0. And u is equal to xy. Okay. Utility is equal to xy. And in this case, what would be your utility? Xy. If you derive u equal to, so you have derived x and you have derived y. So in this approach, your utility become xy equal to m by 2p1 into m by 2p2. It becomes m square divided by 4p1 p2. Utility becomes. Now in this case, what would be your x? X will be p2 divided by lambda, y will be p1 divided by lambda. Okay, and utility will be xy, so p1 p2 divided by lambda square. Lambda you can remove by removing x and y, so you will get x and y here. So it will be ultimately will be p1 into p2 divided by, so you can get, and so you can see basically here we have removed income effect here. So when you solve this whole equation, you will see your income impact will be reduced when you use your Hicksian approach. It is only impact of price, which is your substitution. Your income impact is removed. So that's basically whole gist of your Hicksian approach. So what we have seen using the Hicksian, that your utility utility is function, your real income is function of utility, and when you compensate for real income, so how keeping the utility constant, you are trying to derive the compensated demand curve using Hicksian. So that's the overall Hicksian approach. Next we will look into the Slutsky approach.